Ladies and gentlemen, ears of corn all over the internet and indeed the world. Welcome to the Corn Chronicles. The search continues. This evening, I am joined by a man who almost needs no introduction. But just for the sake of it, I will give him one anyway. One Alex Greavy is joining me here on the program tonight. Alex, thank you so much for being here. How's it going, man?
Good, man. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on the show. I'm excited for the Corn Chronicles.
Yeah, man. I can tell you reflecting your
because I didn't realize until 6 minutes ago that this is going on YouTube.
Oh, no doubt.
Not that I have anything to hide here.
Right? No, man, we've lived fine, upstanding lives for the most part, you know?
Yeah. No, we're good. Thank you for having me. I like what you're doing, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Awesome, man. And I have to say, your corn wordplay game in the lead up to the show was second to none. I have to say.
I'm all ears.
Well, there's a kernel of truth to that. We can just do that for an hour if you want, or we can get to the story.
Salt, I'm ready to pop.
Oh, man. Whew, too much, man. Anyway. Shucks. All right. So, Greavy, thank you so much for being here, man. Greavy and I go way back, all the way to high school, starting around, at least when I was in 10th grade, maybe even 9th grade, playing some poker games around the neighborhood, because that was all the rage. And certainly proud to have grown from our days on the film to days long past into college, and even after college, great friend of mine. Greavy, throughout, and this is just my estimation of things like that, but this is part of why I love having you here, and we got to get to your perspective on certain things. Just in terms of your character and the way I've always perceived your, sounds like almost a Hallmark card to say it like this, but almost your approach to life. I've never known someone genuinely with a more kind of limitless energy pool, and just kind of someone that, man, it sounds like a trope, but I've never known somebody so up for adventure at all times. It seems like almost nothing in your life in terms of experiences is kind of off limits, and it's always kind of something that one I've admired certainly about your character, but even just in terms of not seeming to not need sleep and things like that, really just kind of have blown me away.
Can we get Lindsay in here for her opinion?
We sure can if you want. Lindsay, of course, is Alex's lovely wife, who, not to speak for her, but I'm sure is both a partner in crime and also kind of tries to keep up with him as well, you know?
She wants some limits.
Yeah, no doubt. Greavy, can you tell me, has that always kind of been wired in you, or is that just kind of, is that fair to say that that's been your approach to life? Like, can you speak to what has kind of made you that way? Has that been kind of your family, your upbringing, or just kind of what you kind of garnered for yourself through your own life experience?
Yeah, wow, we're getting deep on the first question here. I like it. Yeah, it's funny. I don't know. It's not like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, here's my approach to life. It just sort of happens. It's almost robotic.
Right.
It's even scarier. But I think maybe it's just because, growing up, our dad was kind of strict and, always had, a right way of doing stuff. And I was so sick and tired of hearing that stuff all the time. It was always like, I'm going to do the opposite. Anytime someone says that there are limits or this is unsafe or it could be dangerous, I'm like the opposite, just natural reaction.
No doubt, man. No doubt. And
to answer the question, I think I always have been like that.
No doubt. Well, I mean, I'm certainly glad that some of that has rubbed off on me. We've gone so far as to jump out of a plane together, which was my first time. Maybe
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah.
no doubt. We'll get to that in a little bit. But Greedy, I want to keep us back when we were first getting to know each other. And I'm just going to ask you a very simple question. We got deep on the first question. We're about to get deep dish on the second question. How many oven pizzas have you made in your life?
How many what?
How many oven pizzas have you made in your life?
Oh. They have to come out with a flat bottom. Because in that case, none.
Oh, man.
If they don't have to be flat, then I guess one.
Oh, man. I'm making a very dumb and very dated reference to probably the second time I met Greedy, but he brought with him like a frozen pizza to cook, which in and of itself, like, you do you, man. That's freaking awesome. All right, you know. But he had this pizza with him, and he's asking.
I had the pizza with me?
I think so, bro.
I don't know why I would have picked it up, but I mean, sounds like, yeah, that's not, out of the realm of possibilities.
I believe you did. I don't know where else that would have came from. But at the end of the day, man, you had a pizza materialize from somewhere, and you were trying to use Jay's oven to make it, and man, you had neglected to put any sort of tray underneath the pizza, and you just kind of laid it down on the grill.
To be fair, it did not say in the directions like put on a sheet. It just said, 450 preheat, put it in. So I was like, okay.
Cool, easy. Man, but anyway, man, I'll never forget Greedy coming into the room and saying like, "Hey, the pizza's like melting," and in my head, I'm just like, "Yeah, man, it's supposed to get hot," Like I'm literally just like, it's frozen, man. And then it's like, no, it's like going through and I remember getting up to see, and man, I'll never forget it. And if I'm being honest with you, man, what really nailed all that home was somebody said, like, aren't you like valedictorian? And you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess fake it until you make it. A quick anecdote, because I swear to God, I haven't baked anything in the oven. I make stuff in the oven since then, but like not that often. And you know how everyone's doing like bread making during the shutdown?
I do.
Lindsay, you gotta give her credit. She slaved over this like sourdough dough, and I was left to put it in the oven. What do you think happened?
Oh my gosh, man!
I just put it on the rack, and I get bread expands a lot, so the bread literally expanded like below and above. So
around it, yeah, dude.
So we pulled the rack out, and we're like trying to like knock the bread out of the rack. It was like,
eat it again. Unbelievable.
Again, I'll get the loaf. That's the because I don't want.
I don't even know. I don't even know if I need that kind of proof, man. Good Lord.
You don't want it. I don't want it. I'm trying to eliminate it by eating it as fast as possible.
Right. You bet, man. That's all you can do. My God. I can't. Of all times, like a guy's going over a decade later, well over a decade later, man. Things come full circle, and you go ahead and try your hand at baking bread again. Poor Lindsay, man. Good Lord.
I know.
Well, fortunately, man, you're a man of many other great skills. Talent and smart. Now, Ruby, part of what's cool about my experience with this program to date is that a lot of the stories that I've kind of brought up to others have been not only shared experiences with me, but shared experiences with other friends. And with this in mind, I had Rich Arleo on the program the other day, and one of the first
Yeah.
one of the first things we brought up was when the three of us took a trip together to Randall's Island to go see Dave Matthews Band. Now, what's cool is Greedy and I have seen we've seen actually a few concerts together, and I definitely want to cover on one more story from another one. But we've even seen Dave together on a couple of occasions. But that first one was, I believe, both of our first experience with Dave Matthews Band, and it breeded quite a few memories that I know still stick out to me. Rudy, I'm curious if you have any kind of reflections on that day, or if not, maybe I can hopefully paint the scene for you real quick.
Oh man, I mean, I got a couple. I don't know where. I mean, we got to bring up Rich's hat at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know if we start with that or if we build to it, but maybe we build a little bit. Like we got there, we must have got there at noon.
Yeah, nice and early.
And I mean, like anyone who's ever been to a concert knows, like they don't go on until like 6 earliest. You know, like we'll hang out, and it must have been the hottest day of the summer. And we're just like searching for any shelter from the sun, man. Like Rich was like dying, like his arms were like bubbling, and any bit of shade had been claimed by people like 3 hours before. And I just remember being so thirsty.
Yeah, man. We're practically melting because it's definitely like Randall's Island is essentially just like a dirt kind of island, man. Like there was no respite at all for any kind of shade. I remember there was one particular band, and I remember the name. I've never heard them since, but there was a band called Tea Leaf Green that was playing over by a stage that had sprinklers, and we stayed for the whole set just because, like, literally they were by the sprinklers, and we were just underneath them and just like, this is great, you know?
It could have been the worst band of all time. We would have stuck around for the whole set.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And in my heart of hearts, I feel like they knew that just like, oh, yeah, we have the sprinklers by us, you know? Like, people are gonna be backing us out, you know? I will say, I speak for myself, but I think I speak for all of us. It was before kind of enjoying anything else before a concert in terms of beer or anything like that was, we were still kind of, it was before that time in our lives. And I remember speaking for myself that it was just kind of interesting to see that kind of camaraderie amongst people, because part of it is very, I don't want to say magical, but part of it is very inviting. But then you kind of see over the course of time, because it's an all-day thing, how like those kinds of celebrations can kind of wear on people a little bit. And what I'm in a roundabout way circling it back to is the gentleman who approached you and told you about a guy named Eric. Can you remember that at all?
Eric. Well, he didn't really approach. He was like yelling at us. And we're like behind. I'm like, there's no one behind us. So like, because his eyes were sort of like going through us a little bit, you know. But then his eyes like locked. I was like, oh, he's talking to us, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he was so convinced.
What did he say, man?
He was just like, hey, like Eric told me to meet him right here. And then I was like, Eric? And like, what the fuck? Forget our response was, to be honest. Like, I don't even know if he responded.
Oh no, I think we all were just like, cool, man. We're gonna wait, you know.
Yeah,
we're here, you know, like we're
on.
We'll be here when we need you. Dude. And of course, what's cool to look back on is all the great bands from that day. I mean, we were there to see Dave, and I was pumped to see the Flecktones. You know, I think they were there
Yep.
as well. But even before that, Slightly Stupid was there. Yonder
Yeah.
Mountain Swing
Yeah,
Band.
they were on early.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like almost to the point of what's crazy is it was so long ago that those bands weren't selling out their own stuff yet. So like I remember very literally because like you said it was hot and we were there all day. I remember trying to take a nap during Slightly Stupid, which is an insane thought now. And not that I love them now, but it's just like that's a show that I would really want to see. You
Right.
know?
If they're playing, like we're watching, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know if it was a nap or if it was like heat exhaustion.
Yes. we might not have had much say in the matter, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, our bodies are shutting down.
I also brought up to Rich earlier that day when you bought that super expensive gyro because all the food was super expensive. But you bought that gyro, and then there was that fight that started behind you, and so this fight is raging on, and if Breezy's holding his gyro, he's literally got it. He's got it like this, like looking around, like trying to protect it.
Yeah, man. Nothing was getting between me and that gyro.
Dude, for that kind of money, like that was like protecting an investment. You know what I'm saying, man? There was
Exactly. That's when we were poor, and I was like, $8 for a hot dog? Like, no. And I think the gyro was like $10.50 or something. And yeah, I was just like, give me every single topping. Like, I want
exactly.
full
Yeah.
value.
The works. Give me that New York works.
Give me the works.
Really, we're gonna fast forward a little bit.
Oh wait, one more anecdote. This is how it ends. So we built up Rich's hat.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, but Sean Taylor was throwing a party that night.
That's right. Yes.
And I don't know why we're, I felt the need to speed back, but I feel like Sean was like, yeah, the party starts like 9.
Yeah.
And we left Randall's Island at like 8:21 or something. And we made it to his house, I'm pretty sure, like by the time the party started.
Yes, you bet. I do remember speeding back. And I do remember in a land, I don't know if it was before GPSs, but they sure as hell weren't in your phone yet.
No.
And I remember we had a whale of a time trying to find like a bridge. We kept seeing the sign for it,
Oh, yeah.
but never the place to do it. And nobody knew. Nobody knew where this bridge was, which sounds freaking stupid. But we're like, I'm still in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like I could barely get to the LIE. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we're seeing signs for like this bridge that we're supposed to take, and we keep like going past it, and then we turn around and we see signs for it again, and nobody is confident enough to really like backseat drive it either. You know what I'm saying? So we're just like, I just remember like part of me is really proud of it. I'm being very honest with you. Like part of me is really proud because I remember both Rich and I being like, "Don't worry, Greedy, you'll get it. Like we'll find it." You know, like it was a really.
It was like third time was a charm. And I'm pretty sure I paid like a $15 toll every time we missed it. Just to add like insult to injury.
You just hear us in the background like, "Don't worry, Greedy, I got that one." You know. Oh, dude.
Yeah. All right. So
gets destroyed by a ketchup bomb. Wearing his shiny white ivory brand new Yankee hat, and he thinks a concert at Randall's Island with a bunch of hippies is the best place to rock that for the first time. And boy, oh boy, goes majority of the day goes just fine, enjoying it, doing great. Suddenly that ketchup bomb hits. I have a Dave shirt myself. Man, Rich gets mad with a capital M. He's mad. For some reason, and this I don't sympathize with, he says, "I'll put it on the ground to be safe." about 2 minutes go by and somebody steps on the hat, so it's got a brand new dirt stain to go right along with the ketchup. And
Right, like what you were saying before, like it wasn't like a grassy field. It's more like a dirt patch with a couple blades of grass, you know?
exactly. And to the point where I was just proud that we brought a blanket. Like I was proud we remembered to do that.
Yeah.
Uh,
We didn't
yes.
sully the shorts.
And man, it got stomped on. I was not a kind friend. I laughed very hard. Rich.
Oh, I was dying.
Oh, dude. Man, oh, man. And Rich was just inconsolable, but in a very angry way. Inconsolable, man.
He was like legit pissed. That's what made it even funnier, you know?
Yeah, man. He wasn't helping his cause. He was not.
No. If he had just been like, oh, like that sucks, you know, it's a new hat, I'd be like, oh yeah, like that's a bummer. It's still kind of funny. But because he's so mad, it just like it ratcheted up, you know.
He was definitely ready to like approach each person at the concert. Like, did you see you threw that? Did you see? You know. He was poised, man. He was poised to go, man. But he made it. We made it. That was a great time. Man, certainly a treasured memory indeed. Ruby, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. A lot of the great memories we have are kind of being a little older, kind of post-college, or even during college. A lot of summer nights in the city and in Astoria. It's hard to really jump into all of those, only because there are so many kind of treasured ones. I kind of wanted to start on a particular Halloween, only because I have very specific and treasured like memories of just simply visuals of the time you were the Wheaties box.
Yeah. The Wheaties box. We were at Poisson Rouge.
Yeah, no doubt. I would not have gotten that name if you paid me, but yeah, dude. Poisson Rouge. First of all, I remember very distinctly, obviously you showing up because that's not an outfit you can get. Creamy is a Wheaties box about as wide as, too wide for the screen, okay? And it makes it look like, yeah, exactly that. Yes. And it makes it look like Creamy is the athlete being featured on the box. It's a great costume. But we're also about to like go into a pretty confined space. Like there aren't city Halloween parties in public that are plenty of space. And I remember here's where Ben Krause is one of a kind. Ben Krause has kind of this Tom Sawyer mentality about him in his own way. He really does. Because I remember him saying to me, he's just like, I'm not going to do a good impression, but Ruby will know. And anyone really listening and caring will know. Ben goes like, one of us is going to need to make sure that Greedy can get to the cab, okay? Just because he's so oblong, you know what I'm saying? And Ben's like, we think you're up for the task or something like that. He's talking to me, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he's basically making it seem like I'm being trusted to make sure.
You're responsible for the Wheaties.
And so, in reality, like he just doesn't want to have to deal with trying to help you in and out of this gosh darn kind of car. And so he basically like tells me like the worm farm in Seattle. It says like, yeah, so we think you'll do great, and we're gonna get going early to make sure that we have the tickets to get in, and we're gonna go with Greedy and make sure you can get in and out of the cab. And it's like, okay, like fine. And to our credit, we made it in and out just fine. But I do remember, I think doing more laughing than helping, which is pretty up to stuff with kind of maybe our older depressed, but certainly with me. And I remember getting you in and out of the cab, trying to keep the box together, and they do let you into obviously the party. I remember so vividly and I would love to hear your perspective on the whole night. But we're at this very crowded bar, and there's dancing, and there's drinking, and there's this, that, and the other thing. And I just remember intermittently throughout the night, people would like post up against Greedy because he was like wide enough to be a wall, and and so you would literally see people, and it's not like flagrantly inappropriate. I don't want to give you that idea either, but there are.
I was gonna say, like, I was providing support for like the grinders, you know?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and like nothing was inherently wrong with that, but like there's a reason you do certain things on the support of a wall and not somebody's back, you know?
It was nothing too dirty, but I'll just say I never wore that costume again.
Yeah.
I mean, for multiple reasons, but
I remember so vividly. There would be times where we would try to give you signals to just like, you know, like move, you know what I'm saying? Because you wouldn't always realize it.
like I can't. Like, there's no like turning, like, you know, the crowd. It's just that makes it worse.
Oh, dude. So there was a point where we're trying to just like wave to you and say like, yo, like clear it out, you know? And then there was another time where for all I know, it only happened once, but maybe in my fantasy it happened like more than one time. I do remember at least once Deanna going up and like pushing them like gently away from you. Like Rudy was on like a second level and we were on like a ground floor. And I do remember at least once Deanna going up. Maybe she was gonna be there anyway, I don't know. But she like went over and like tapped the two on the shoulder that were like posting up on you to like move, and they moved. And I probably laughed so much that everything after that got blurry, man. But why don't you kind of talk me through maybe not so much the costume selection, because I think it's a brilliant costume. You don't need to walk me through that. But any particular memories of that night for you, man?
What was that?
Any particular memories of that night for you, man?
I'm trying to think. Well, very quickly about the costume, because there actually isn't much of a thought process. Like every year, it's the same thing. I wait until, you know, like 5 p.m. the day of Halloween to go get a costume. And I'll go to Ricky's, you know, it's like rented out. It's like whatever it used to be. And I'll go, of course, there's nothing good. In fact, there's nothing left. The only thing left are like things like they've been on the floor, like trampled for the last week. And I'll find like, it's always the dumbest ones left. So that's how I ended up with like a hammerhead shark, the Wheaties. And then the best part is like, they never know what the price is because it's, you know, it's been trampled on. And by that point, the people, they're so sick of working. They're like, yo, I'll just give it to you for like $20. So I always get like the dumbest costume for $20. It always works out.
Yeah, dude. Oh, awesome.
But yeah, memories at night. Did we go back to my apartment that night?
Okay. I don't know whose apartment it was, but here's what I remember. One, after that night, I was dressed up as the man in the yellow hat. Curious.
Oh, I remember that. Wait. No, was that the year I was the cow?
No, because the year you were the cow, I was the cowboy.
Yeah.
Which was surreal because we didn't plan that. That got a little weird. But the year you were the Wheaties box, I was the man in the yellow hat, and I had the little Curious George. And I wound up.
Okay.
And I wound up selling that big yellow hat for like $20 because that guy's girlfriend liked it, and he's just like, how much for the hat? And this hat is, you know, it's probably like one of those Ricky's costumes at this point, man. It's been trampled, you know what I'm saying? Like it's been.
Weren't we like in a pizza shop?
Yes. Well, no. Forgive me. So I think I got the $20, and here's where you're you and I'm me, because I'm literally just like, oh man, like I don't know if you want to buy this. And Creepy's like $20. Like I think you're the one who said like the price, and the guy's like sold, and I'm just like, all right, cool, you know. So I think in fairness, like I think Alex really is the only reason I got $20 out of that deal. because I was so
Right.
I was so focused on one, like I don't think you want this hat, and two, if I'm being honest with you, the Curious George is from my grandfather, and it's not like a treasured family memory kind of thing, but it's from my grandfather. I don't want to sell it, you know. If I
Yeah.
if I spilled beer on it, it would have been like, oh, what a shame, you know. It's not like a family heirloom, but it's not something that I was ready to get rid of either. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm explaining to the guy 8 different ways, like this is just for the hat, and he's like, yeah, dude, I know, but like I've been drinking too. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, and if anything, like, which is a scary thought, me drinking, I just get like even more like anal about shit, you know. So so I'm just like, it's not for the monkey, it's just for the hat. He's like, yep, I know. And then Greedy's like $20, and he's like, here you go, and there you go, man. The transaction was made.
I feel like I remember seeing that going on. I was like, yo, we just gotta like throw a number out and see if he goes for it. I threw that out thinking he'd be like, bullshit. He's like, I'll give you 5.
Yeah, $20 for a tattered foam cowboy hat, baby boy.
That thing was wrecked.
It, yeah, it wasn't. It was not. Man. I have a photo up on my fridge of it. I really, not just a hat. I have of that night. Actually, you in the Wheaties box is. I'll see if I can find that, and I'll throw that up when I share the link. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now, here's what else was going on that night. I have no clue whose apartment we wound up at. I really don't. But it was right around the time the Key and Peele skit came out with the I said, and then they look around.
I said.
Are you? There it is.
We must have said that 2,000 times over the course of the night. And thank God for whoever didn't find that funny, which is probably everyone around us, for putting up with that.
Yeah, man, that was. I do remember the amount of the amount of I said bitches going up exponentially over the course of the night. Especially by Greedy. I'll throw him under the bus all day. Like that was definitely you fueling that.
It basically was the form of communication, like based on like the tone of how I said it, like, you know, that's how I, you know, let you know how I was feeling or what we should do.
Oh, Lord. And I also brought up, I spoke to Sean Taylor just yesterday, and I was talking about the Halloween where you did dress up as the cow, and I dressed up as the cowboy, and Sean Taylor lost his dad. Oh, boy. What a time. Baby boy.
That was when, that was at Ben, Deanna's, and Jake's old apartment in Astoria.
Yeah, dude. Yep. And that was the night. The reason it came up between me and Sean is that was the night where there was another cowboy in the bar we were at. And apparently, like, he was getting upset with me because I was, like, talking to people, you know? And what I remember, because you only told me this yesterday, and this is not even, like, impairment talking. I was just, like, not present, you know?
Yeah.
Said to him, is like, hey, man, if you have a problem with that cowboy, you see that dog over there? And he pointed to Sean Taylor, who has, like, the dog ears on. And he's like, he's with him, and I'm with him, too. So, and I just remember I hear about
I said that?
Yeah. Apparently, man. According
to I guess not outside the realm of possibilities.
I mean, that's what you said. And so I think apparently this guy was pretty hot with me, but because of you, kind of defeats the situation with just the threat of Sean Taylor. You know?
Oh man, I can't tell you how many times I just pointed to Sean and like, yeah, like he's with us, you know.
Yeah. Do you remember that time? This is not the best story in the world, but it's relevant, man. Do you remember that time we were in Spring Lounge and we saw that dude that looked like Sean Taylor?
Yeah, he was like his doppelganger. I mean, I swear to God, like
he looked just like him. And dude, like I know like there's no real true follow-up to that, but I felt so bad for the guy because he knew that we were just grilling him because it was like, oh my God, it looks just like him. And so he just has these two strange dudes probably cheesing ear to ear, just like ha ha ha, you know.
You know, he didn't just look like him. It was just like he had all the same motions. I don't know. It was weird.
It was him. I remember. It gives you an idea of when this freaking was and how old we freaking are. I remember I took a vine of it.
Oh yeah, you just dated yourself. For all you youngins, that's what TikTok.
What's that, man? I'm sorry.
So for all the youngins, that's what TikTok was.
Yeah, that's right, dude. I don't have a TikTok. That shows you how time is changed.
Yeah, no, I'm not on that. But yeah, he must have been freaked out a little bit.
I'm sure he was, because I'm sure we had the subtlety of a freaking elephant in, you know, a China shop. Terrible. I doubt we played that cool. I doubt highly we played.
No. And then again, I guess if you're a regular Spring Lounge, you wouldn't be surprised to see two strangers just like laughing at you, you know?
I suppose. And you were for a while, right, man? Why don't you tell me? Not that I was there for a lot of them, but you know, why don't you tell me? Has there been a bar in your life that has been as consistent as the Spring Lounge? I remember that being kind of a fixture for me for a while.
No, I mean the only thing that comes close is senior year in college. We had this bar, Dunbar's, but I mean I went there often, but I wasn't like friends with the people that worked there and owned it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like Spring Lounge, I don't know. You know, it's just first of all, it's on the way home to my apartment from the subway stop, and then the guys that worked there were just like they're all mad cool. You know, they're just like normal people. So like. It's the only bar where I'd stop by, and before I went in, I'd stop and talk to the bouncer for like 30 minutes outside, you know?
Yeah. Wow, that's magic. And I think, to be honest, man, I have, just because I think I've only been there once without you. And then every other time that's been with you because, you know, it was so close to where you live. I think my favorite Spring Lounge memory is there was one time where I'm always, I don't know, it's kind of a weird way to jump into it, but I'm always really cautious when you're walking around in closed spaces. Like, I always make it a point to, like, keep my hands up so I can just kind of, like, hey, man, like, I don't mean to, like, nudge you or whatever the heck, you know? And so I remember vividly one time, like, I'm just walking around like this, and I'm just trying to, like, work my way through. And that's probably, like, alcohol working, you know, and this, that, and the other thing. But I remember the bouncer, like, stopped me in a positive way because he's, like, cheesing at me. And he's just like, hey, man, I like the way you move, man. You're not bothering anybody. And I'm just like, and I'm literally, and like, I'm like, yeah, man, that's the goal, you know? Like, I'm like, you get it, you know? And so every time I'd be walking around, I would see him like over it. I would see him over by the door going
just
like
cracking up. Yeah, man. I bet that was probably this guy Monday, man.
Oh, dude, I love that movie, man, because he got it, you know. And it's not that I needed the acknowledgement, you know, but like at the same time, it was really validating to like to have it, you know. Oh, dude.
You're probably always welcome back after that one.
Yes, indeed, man. I'm sure I would be. I'm sure I would be indeed. And we definitely made some trips, by all means. Rudy, I'm going to bring up another story I'd like you to tell, because this is a story, if I'm being honest, I don't remember terribly well, but I know that you do in greater detail than I ever will. If I were to bring up just the word or the acronym FIFA, why don't you talk me through what that means kind of to our friendship?
Well, I guess it's like Federation International Football Association, something like that. I probably butchered that completely. Aside from that, it's also a video game that I had on the Xbox. Oh, God, I'm like an old person, like the Xbox. You know how like people put like the in front of like technologies, like the Google. All right. So it's a video game I had for Xbox, and that's what I was asking. Like, I was wondering if we went back to my apartment after the Halloween night, but I don't think so because it was like a summer night. Actually, I remember the air conditioning being on, and it was me, you, Sean Taylor, and Wong.
Yeah, Wong was there. Yep.
Wong was there. I'm pretty sure it's the four of us, and I guess I must have been playing Wong.
No, you were playing Sean.
And
Wong was out.
I was
Wong
playing
was
Sean.
out. You were playing Sean Taylor in the game.
So then I'm trying to think, like, did he actually stop playing then? Because I feel like we were playing. All right, so maybe I was playing Sean,
Yeah.
and for whatever reason, like we weren't sitting on the couch. Either I just moved in, or like we just wanted to be closer to the TV. We just like brought our kitchen stools into the living room to play, and I don't know. I guess I was playing Sean because then we must have known that like he like stopped playing. And I was about to like hit him like, yo, what are you doing? And I just see him, and like he's like, chin's almost touching his.
Wasn't it me though? Here's the thing, like my vague memory, and please, you got to correct me if I'm wrong, but like my vague memory is you and Sean were playing, and I was making.
Oh, that is yeah. Okay. Right. So that's what I was saying. That wouldn't have made sense if I was playing Sean. So you were sitting in the middle, like we were on either side of you. And I forgot what made us stop. Maybe you were snoring or something. I looked over and like, I mean, your chin was in your chest, and then you bump up, and your eyes would kind of like open up halfway, And we had known for a while you were like trying to stay awake to watch us play, but you were kind of fading. And I think you just, your body shut you down. So you're like, and then you open up your eyes like halfway. I was like, yo, Sean. I was like, yo, let's just like pause the game. So we paused the game, and still for the next like, it felt like 10 minutes, but it must have been for 3 minutes. We just watched you kind of go like, and I looked at him and was like, should we like wake him up or like pick him up and put him on the couch or something? Like, this looks painful. Like he's gonna wake up with neck spasms or something. But yeah. I think eventually we did like knock you awake, but it was a good 3-5 minutes. We just let you.
Yeah, it was a good while, and I do remember when you guys finally like forced me to stay awake. I did notice that you guys were just staring at me, and I was just like, yeah, I should probably go to bed. I'll never forget it. All right, man. I've mentioned right off the start. I mentioned what I would consider your appetite for life, but I think every one of our friends in our own way, definitely want to take in all that life has to offer. But that said, I want to take us back to a cool little experience we shared, and that was going skydiving together. Was that your first time when we went together?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I've only been twice.
Okay.
So I got a coin flip here. That was my first time.
I think it was too, but I didn't want to speak for you. I remember, for the life of me, I don't remember what like prompted me saying that I was going to do it, but I remember saying I was going to do it. And part of what I love about that day is, one, we did it and it was freaking awesome. But also, it was the most like ragtag group of people in the world. It was like you, me, Nikki Matson, who's great. I mean, she's a lovely person.
Yes, right.
Yeah, dude. Oh no, I don't blame you, dude. It was just, and Nikki Matson's a lovely human being, but it's not like we hang out. You know what I'm saying? And
I probably have since that day, honestly. Like,
and two of my coworkers, it was legitimately the entire IT team of the job.
Yeah.
And so it was just us there, and then I think Grant showed up at some point to see you through, and man, we just picked up, hopped up in a plane, and jumped on out, man. And at the time of our lives, and I mean, I don't know, jumping out of a plane is exciting enough, but maybe it's just because they're all
You
kind
just
of
like you just fall out of a plane. I mean, the thing is, they don't really give you time to freak out.
yeah.
Oh, you know, what? Hold on. I lost you for a second. What was that?
Oh no, man! I'm just part of the magic of it is just we will never have those people in the same room again, ever.
I mean, should we make it happen?
That would be exciting. I don't know where the IT team is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
All right, yo. When they finally come up with like affordable space travel, when Elon finally gets his shit together and like
that'll be
we'll
that'll
have that crew.
be we have to
Like
we have to approach together, man. That would be incredible.
yeah. Yeah, man. It's funny you said like what brought that on. I don't even remember. Like, so that was you basically like, did you buy tickets or you just said like, do you want to go?
I don't remember. I know for a fact that I know for a fact that it was me that initiated it because y'all I mean y'all are tremendous individuals and
No, yeah, no. It was your peeps.
yeah, exactly. It was like I was the common link, but I don't remember why it was dead set. I think what I might think happened is maybe you and I were going to go with somebody else, and then they said they didn't want to go, and so I just started to say like, does anyone want to go? And
That could be possible.
I don't know. I wish I had more of the background of like what went into. I don't know. Bottom line, man, a random.
Have you done it since?
What's that?
Have you done it since?
Dude, that is the best segue you ever could have thrown me. Here's what happened, okay?
Softball pitch.
We went ahead and we did the skydiving thing. And I enjoyed it with a capital E, all about it. But I very much considered it like check it off the bucket list. Like I'm done. That's it.
Yeah.
Suddenly, or not suddenly, I post on Facebook that I do it, or should I say the Facebook for your comfort, but I post on Facebook that I did it, and my good friend and former kind of colleague once a year from Scotland says, I'm not going to do the impression because I'll do it terribly, but he's like, Tom, that's incredible, I've never done that. That would be great to do, and or something like that. And I just said to him like, yeah, man, if you're ever in New York, we'll do it again. And I mean that, but at the same time, yeah, I've seen him in a kilt. He's got it for real, man. Absolutely. That's not even a lie. But I say that because he lives in Scotland. Like, when is he going to be in New York? Like, it is the most, it's not a lie, but it's the most hollow thing I've ever said, if I'm being honest with you, man. I'm just like, yeah, okay, if you're in New York, do it. Yeah, okay. If I'm in Japan, I'll do that too. Like, it's not going to happen. He gets back to me like a week later and he says, all right, Tom. Oh, I just said I'm not going to do the impression, and now you know why, because it was awful. But he's like, all right,
let's hear it. He's
like, all right, Tom, I'm going to be in New York at the end of the month. He's like, go ahead and tell me which one you used, which skydiving company you used, and I'll make the reservations. And so I told him what I did, and literally I'm just like, it's like, well, guess I'm going again. And so I wind up skydiving again for the second time. I skydived twice in like 2 months. And we wound up having a great time. He actually turned it into a cancer fundraiser for his mom who passed. So, I mean, that was really cool to be a part of. And again, he's one of the best people I know. I owe him a great deal for a lot of those international trips I was planning. And yeah, man, it was a special time by all means. But bottom line, I've also done it twice, and I would never say never, but I think twice is enough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't honestly, when I got down to the ground, I was ready to like get back in the plane and do it again.
No doubt. Oh no, I liked it. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was just a rush, and I was just like done. That's it.
Yeah.
But no doubt. I think you'd go back before I would. But if you wanted to get before space travel, if you wanted to get the group together again, I would see what I could do to track down the IT team, and I'm sure Mickey
A little practice run. And like for those who haven't been skydiving, like I got there thinking it would be like a skydiving plane. It's like, okay, they make a plane for sky. It's not. It's literally a normal plane that it looks like they just took a saw and like sawed out like half of the plane. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, we're about to get into that and go 13,000 feet. And it's like a sheet of plastic covering the thing. It's just like flapping in the wind.
Yes, you hear it. That's what bugs you out too. I think I'm relatively convinced. I really am. I'm relatively convinced that the sound freaks you out more than looking out the window and seeing the height. Yeah.
And it got really cold up there. And I remember like I was shivering. I'm like, am I shivering because I'm freezing or because there's so much adrenaline going through me and shaking? Like I actually didn't know. It was like both.
And of course, like everybody's trying to look around and be like, "Hey, Greedy, you ready? Hey, Pally, you ready to go?" And
hey, like, hear about that Yankees trade? I'm like, dude, what are you, Yankees? We're about to fall out of a plane. Like, don't try to pretend we're not doing something crazy.
Hey, man, don't hit me with that right now, man. I'm not ready for that. Now, Greedy, I mentioned that with my buddy from Scotland, I planned a bunch of international trips. One of those trips was to London. I spent 11 days there. But you spent a much longer period of time there. You lived there for a good stretch of time. I don't want to throw you something too nebulous where you're just like, how the hell do I talk about all that? But can you kind of talk me through just for people who may be kind of interested? What was it like kind of living abroad? What are your impressions of the city, and what are kind of the adjustments you've made kind of since, like now that you've been back in New York,
Yeah, wow, that's a good question. I mean, I could spend like a day on this topic, but I would say for those who want to study abroad, I loved London. Obviously the biggest thing is like when you're going to work or, truly live in a foreign country, like having them speak in English is probably the main, thing that made it easy. But I love the culture there, the whole pub culture in London. It's not like New York. There's a lot more kind of open space. There's a ton of parks. And I feel like, yeah, I don't know. It was a good city to sort of live in. It was a very livable city.
Yeah, no doubt.
People always ask me like, what's the biggest difference between New York and London? And it's nothing sort of extravagant or mind-blowing, but I'd say the biggest thing is like on a Tuesday afternoon, if you're in the office in New York and you're like, hey, like who wants to get a couple beers? Everyone's like, no, like I gotta run or I have to work out or like I have to meet some friends for dinner. In London, like everyone would stand like, oh yeah, cheeky pint, yeah. And like, you could definitely get 10, 12 people to go down. And it's not like we're out till like 4 a.m. Let's stick around till like 9 or something, and it wasn't crazy, but like you could do that 5 nights a week during the work week.
Yeah.
And just kind of like tells you what the culture and the lifestyle is like. It's a bit more laid back.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I spent 11 days there, which is nowhere near what you spent. I think Trafalgar Square was the only place where I felt like I was being sold something. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it's sort of like Times Square.
Yeah, I think that was the only place where I was, and I was just like, I don't want to be here. I like
All right, here's one thing. You'll like this. You'll like this.
yeah.
So I got to the office. It's like day one. You know, I don't know anyone there. You know, it's still with American Express, but it's not like I've ever worked with these people. And my boss, Jack Turley, Jack, shout out. Like, you were the best boss I could have possibly had. But my first one-on-one with Jack, and he kind of like gives me the lay of the land. He's like, hey, it's like, okay, like, you know, what questions do you have? You know, this is my first time. I'd never studied abroad, whatever. And my first question, I'm like, so what do you guys call English muffins? He's like, what do you mean? Well, are they just muffins or are they English muffins? He's like, English muffins. I'm like, why would you guys call them English muffins? And that just kind of like set the tone for the rest of the year, I'd say.
My goodness, man! But you know what? That's the inquisitive mind that I think we have in common, man. People gotta know, man.
I don't know.
These are the mysteries, man.
Mm-hmm.
No, for my part, I love the city. Like I said, I think the only place I didn't really dig was Trafalgar Square. That was the only time where I was just like, man, I gotta get out of here. I didn't really enjoy that. I stayed over by the Marble Arch. That was over where we were at.
Yep.
And a lot of it was spent on business, like, let's be clear. But also, like, half my business while I was there was making sure that the touristy stuff kind of went well. So I definitely got to check out. There were some cool jazz clubs by the London Eye, which were really cool to check out.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There were little, like, vendors set up with just, like, some street food and things like that. And say what you will, dude, like, England, I guess, well, not I guess, I know, has, like, this reputation for, like, cruddy food, but just, like, I could have eaten at that London Eye, like, little, like, vendor set. I could have eaten there every day, man. I thought that was delicious stuff. 1,000,000%. Probably more expensive than it had to be, but it was very good, you know. I do remember on my one day off, like my true day off abroad, I tried to go to Abbey Road, which I was successful in. But I had in my head that Abbey Road would be like this big old building. And It turns out, A, it's not, but B, I walked right by it because I wasn't even on the right side of the road. And so I want to be.
Well, I guess in England, you're always on the wrong side of the road.
Yes. Tell me about it. And you know when you do that, like, this is not the most interesting thing in the world, but like if you were ever going, like, walking towards somebody like this, you would always kind of break the way that you would drive, you know? So like my impulse was to go this way, but because they drive on the left, like their impulse was also to go this way. Yep. And I must have done that in 11 days. I must have done that 20 times with people. It's just like, because their natural inclination is just like, treat it like the road. And my natural inclination is treat it like the road. And so we would literally go like, whoops, and then step over together. And it would be, frankly, very funny to me. I don't know. I'm sure they were inconvenienced a great deal, but it was
They're just like another American.
Yeah, exactly, man. That would probably be the way to know, dude. That I swear to you, that would probably tell them all they need to know about where a person's from. Maybe, boy. I do remember. It might even just be called Hyde Park was lovely.
Yeah, so we lived by Hyde Park.
Oh, sweet. Right on, man.
Yeah.
I thought it was beautiful. One of the things I had to plan was a museum visit. And when I say plan a museum visit, I just mean make sure that all these people could get into the museum. You know, like that's it. And I remember very distinctly somebody on the tour that I was running, and I say tour I was running, all I was running was making sure they got there. I wasn't running anything. I'm not an expert on anything. But I remember so vividly this lovely woman, whose name I don't remember. I used to plan these trips for like 600 people to go abroad. And they would be in like two different groups, but it would be like, depending on the year, it would be like 400 to like 600 people. And so not a lot of names kind of stick, but doesn't mean that they don't matter to me. And this woman says to me, she's just like, "Oh, it's cool that we're at this museum. What kind of things do they have in it?" And I'm trying to explain to her like, "Oh no, I don't really know. Like I just know like this is the museum, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it." And I said, "I don't know this for sure, but just because of my own life experience, like I think the Rosetta Stone is here." And like as
Oh,
literally as it comes out of my mouth, like we walk into the entrance and it's already the Rosetta Stone, and I'm just like, this is one of those things where you had to be there, but you got to take my word for it. I was just like, oh yeah, there it is. Like, and it was like, I've never seen something like so profound, and that had it just been like, oh yeah, the Yankee game
yeah.
is on, you know, like. And part of me knows that you know exactly what I'm saying when I say that. It was one of those things where it's just like, oh yeah, freaking Rosetta Stone, cool, you know?
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'll tell you, like the British, at least the ones I knew, they sort of had that attitude for a lot of things. It's the whole kind of keep calm and, nothing. They're not like, oh my god, like that's crazy. It's the Rosetta Stone. So,
Right.
We went out to Stonehenge.
Uh-huh.
It's like to Americans, like, yo, it's this thing you hear about since like you were kids,
Uh,
druids
it's
doing,
all around
happy to
here.
get it 100 miles, whatever. You're like, wow, that's awesome. So me and Lindsay, we went out there. We checked it out. It was raining, of course, so it's kind of miserable, but
Definitely.
we saw it. We checked it off the list. And we went into the office on Monday, and everyone's like, because we were doing stuff like every weekend, so we'd come in and be like, oh, would you guys check out this
Remember
weekend?
that? Yeah, dude.
And we were like, we went and saw Stonehenge, and everyone, like all the Brits were just like, why? I was like, this is part of your like national like history or whatever. And Aaron's like, pile of rocks. Just
Yeah.
more rocks. Yeah.
Oh, dude. That's it. If anyone put that on my itinerary, I'd sack him with the lift, you know?
So there's like, I'll give like a 2-minute, 30 seconds each. So there's like 4 things that happened throughout that year that were sort of like, it just seemed to add on to what that experience was, what that year was.
Yeah.
I think the day after, I'd applied to get this role in London, and I was waiting to hear back for a while. And I think I found out like on a Tuesday, I might be mixing up the days.
Sure.
And then like, on a Wednesday, the whole Brexit vote happened. And that's when they voted to like leave the EU.
Wow.
So yeah, the day before that, I'm thinking, oh, I'll just go to London for a year. I'm like, holy shit, like, are they leaving the EU? So obviously at the time you're thinking like, does that throw into question, like, can't even go there? How's that all gonna happen?
Yeah.
So that just like, wow, this year's gonna be interesting. So that was 1. 2 was the whole, and I'm not gonna preach one way or the other here, but the whole, 2016 presidential election, we're obviously 5 hours ahead. And I stayed up as late as I could to kind of follow all the results. And probably around like 1, it was a work night. It was like 1:30 in the morning. I finally went to bed, and everything was like, 90% Hillary, game, set, match. It's a wrap. I was like, all right, yeah, Hillary's the president. And I remember I woke up, I turned on my phone, went to like New York Times, and I just see a picture of Donald Trump. I was like, holy shit, did he win? Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah. You say that. I want to get right to your third point. I really do. But weirdly enough, man, I don't want to add a story to it, but I was in Prague on election day. So I also had a very similar experience of just realizing that the fate of the nation was being decided one way or the other, while like genuinely I'm just in Prague checking people into a hotel. Surreal times, man.
Checking people, but
Yeah. Yeah, indeed, bro. Indeed. I love how we're making progress on this interview. All right. Anyway. Man, your third point, but that's amazing. We have similar kind of experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, you go to sleep thinking like, okay, we're going to wake up in the world as we know it, and then nope, turn upside down.
Yep.
Yeah. Number 3, which is probably even crazier, Super Bowl. I tried again, I tried staying up as late as I could. I went to sleep at halftime. And I think the Falcons were up. I forget the score, but they were up by 3 touchdowns, I think.
Yeah, I think it was like
And
20 to
like they had just
3,
been
something like
decimated.
that.
Like the Patriots look hopeless. So I was like, fuck, I already saw enough. Like I'll go to sleep. Same thing. I wake up in the morning. I open up ESPN. I see a picture of Tom Brady. I'm like, no way. Like I'm gonna stop going to sleep because I don't know what's gonna happen when I wake up.
you're like a cruddy Back to the Future 4, you know?
I know. Yeah. In my version, the Jets will never win.
That's true.
And then the fourth, and this is a bit somber, but that year I was there was like the 4 terrorist attacks. There's like the one on London Bridge. There's another bridge. I don't know. There's one out. It was kind of not the suburbs, but a little bit further out of Center City. And it was just like, wow, like, this, I understand kind of why Brexit happened. People are afraid of, people coming into the country. Yeah, exactly. We were out. One of Lindsay's friends was visiting from Amsterdam for a weekend. We were out at a bar. It was probably like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and like slowly, like a silence just sort of rippled over the crowd. They're like, "Yo, what's going on?" And everyone's pulling out their phones, and there had been I think it was a London Bridge attack, and we weren't that close, but we were probably like, an 8-minute walk away.
Yeah.
Everyone resumed dancing within like 5 minutes afterwards, and I was like, okay, I guess the whole keep calm, carry on thing is legit, but
yeah. Thank you, Churchill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, man, surreal. I will say, it seems almost churlish to bring this up, but I kind of do at this point. My favorite London memory was I had been to that point a very casual Premier League fan, and that's mostly because Rich Arleo and Chris Carey got really very into it, and I was happy to just be into it with them, Since then, I've grown into kind of my own fan in my own way, but I got to see in a London pub Chelsea play Arsenal, and just kind of get the feel of just how intense those games are. Every time the ball crossed midfield.
Yep. Yeah. You gotta cheer. People going crazy.
You get a legitimate, and when that ball goes in the box, like it.
You're like, yeah. Hold me back.
It's surreal, man, and that was the coolest thing. Certainly, I did there, but like genuinely one of the coolest things in my life was just kind of being in a spectator setting where something mattered that much. I don't know if I've ever been there. I've been in Boston Garden for the NBA Finals, and that was close. That was cool. But it was nothing like that. Nothing.
Yeah. And that was probably just for, Chelsea Arsenal, it's a good game, but that was probably, I don't think it was like.
No, it wasn't the cup or anything. No.
Right, exactly. Yeah. No. The football culture is awesome. I will say, and I wonder if this has anything to do with it. You can legally gamble, wherever. You can download apps. So like, there's this analyst on my team. They only get paid once a month in the UK. So he'd get his paycheck, and like he'd immediately place a whole bunch of bets.
Yeah. Oh no.
And more often than not, he'd come in and be like, mate, like, I got to live for 3 more weeks until my next paycheck. I don't know how I'm going to cut it. And I was just like, they'd bet on every single game. I was like, is that why you guys are so into every game? Like, that probably adds a little bit of, obviously a little skin in each game.
Yeah. You wouldn't be falling asleep on your chin if you were watching that soccer game,
I'll chalk that up to poor play with me and Sean. We weren't entertaining enough.
I'll chalk that up to just dragging Wong home after he was hitting Ben in the face on purpose so many times. That was that night. It's not our story to tell, and we're not going
That
to.
was that night. That was that night. Okay.
That was Ben saying, "Hit me in the face one more time," and Wong
One time.
in the face.
Try me again. And Wong, like, I don't think the words "again" were even out of Ben's mouth, and Wong would try him.
Oh, and my favorite piece, and after this we gotta shut up because again it's really not our story to tell. But I remember on the train ride home from that night, we pull into Ronkonkoma or Babylon. I assume Ronkonkoma, but wherever we were at, and like everybody had slept it off a little bit. You know, I'll leave it at that. And Ben said to Wong when we like pulled into Ronkonkoma, you know, you were really hitting me last night. And Wong goes, shit, and hits him again. And that's like at this point, it's like next morning stuff. And to be honest, man, like you're smiling now, and I'm smiling now, but literally at the time, I was just like, F this, man, I'm over it. Like if they want to fight, they can fight. If somebody, you know, like I'm done, man. I was tapped. Yeah, man, that was that night, and that was a very special one indeed. There are three things I want to close off with. But by all means, if you have additional stories you want to tell, I'm all about it. One, admittedly, might not be a story. It's just kind of something I want to tell you that I really cared about. When we walked the High Line in the dead of winter, I thought that was one of the coolest things to do. I've seen the High Line in the brightness of summer, and you see all the gardens and all the people all around, and that's really cool. Like I would do that any day of the week. Like that's cool with a capital C. But Greedy and I took this walk in the dead of winter with snow on the High Line, and I think we maybe saw in an entire city of people. I'm telling you, I think we maybe saw like 5 other people on that walk. And we walked the whole to go check out that view at the end where it just kind of leaves off. And we just had some cool talks and saw some cool cool views. And, you know, a lot of laughs along the way. We were talking about, like, the Equinox gyms kind of taking over. But all that stuff is neither here nor there. But I do want to at least mention in some way that that's genuinely one of the cooler memories I have in my life, much less in New York City. I really enjoyed that time with you, man. That was a cool little trip.
Yeah, man. No, that was cool. It's like we kind of felt like we had the city to ourselves.
Yeah, it was a cool feeling. We saw one woman slipped on the ice over that trip.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was
splendid. That was splendid. And in New York, you never know what to do because if you're like, oh, are you okay? It's like, you know, like, of course I am. You know, like, leave me alone. You know, like, you never know. You never know if your good deed is a good deed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know if you're better off ignoring it or like being a good.
Yeah, just move on.
Things like that. You know. Splendid. Also, what I remember about that day. Again, the whole day was the trip and the cool walk, but like that's not much of a story, man. I just got to walk the High Line with a good friend of mine when nobody else was around. That's pretty cool. But realistically, what I remember about that is when we were done or close to done, we wanted a photo of just like letting us know that it happened or whatever that. We just wanted a photo together, and so this woman was walking by, and I said, hey, would you mind taking a photo of us? And like she more or less ignored me, and I don't think it's because I was quiet. And here's again, I brought up earlier that the difference between me and Greedy is, okay, but you can have the hat and not the monkey, and Greedy says $20. All right? And again, here in this instance, the difference between me and Greedy is like, oh, I guess you don't want to take our photo. And then Greevy's like, excuse me. And Greevy starts like following her down the road, following her down the sidewalk. And he says, oh, excuse me. excuse me. And he's still being like really nice, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to speak for him, but it sure as hell looked like in Greedy's mind, it was just like Polly wanted this woman to take the picture, and she is either going to take the picture or refuse to take the picture. Like, we will not be ignored, you know? And Greedy,
Yeah, we just wanted an answer, you know?
Greedy chases, I mean, it was speed walking, but it was a chase. Greedy chases this woman down and says, excuse me. And she stops. And Greedy goes, would you mind taking our picture? And she winds up being really sweet. And she's like, oh, of course I will. Yeah, but I'll never forget. Because literally, I'm pretty sure I said out loud, like, oh no, like, don't, you know? But Greedy's just, ahem, you know? And she winds up.
Excuse me. I don't know if you heard me. Well, to be fair, it wasn't like there was like a throng of people walking by to take a photo, you know, like.
Oh, man. Yes, man. Yeah.
She was our only hope for like the next, like, 45 seconds before the next person walked by.
So literally, Greedy chases her down, and we like meet in the middle of like where I was initially asking her to take the photo and where Greedy tracked her down. And we take the photo, and Lord knows that photo is still somewhere, but the context of that photo I find hilarious. I think about that probably more often than I should. And there's a story I want to end with, but it's not this one. Earlier this month, I was fortunate enough to have Ben Krause on the program. Okay? And at the time, I lamented not bringing up a particular story. But I feel like that might be a blessing in disguise because I think it might be more entertaining, kind of get the perspective of people around that situation, and then eventually circle back to Ben for hopefully a second visit. Ruby, if I were to mention going to visit the rhombus, what does that mean to you?
The rhombus. Oh my God.
Walk me through that a little bit.
That'd be a Wook-filled weekend.
What's that?
That'd be a Wook-filled weekend.
Yes, it would. Yep.
So that was fish down in Maryland. Where was it actually? What was the town or the city?
Columbia, the Meriwether Center.
That's right. That's right. And the rhombus. I think Ben looked it up beforehand, or like on the way down, he kept on talking about it.
Right, and he was like, he said, I'm paraphrasing very much so, but he's definitely in full Tom Sawyer mode again.
Oh, always.
And always. That's actually well put. He really is like he is a 21st century Tom Sawyer, 100%. But the whole time he's just like, I got a surprise for everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very much like wait till you get a load of this kind of deal, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
You never know if you're really gonna be like paid off with something, you know, like. And in fairness with me, you don't know either. Like I'm not bombing on Ben, but there are a lot of things that I find interesting that other people don't. But it stands to reason, with all due respect and all the love in the world, that there are things that Ben Krause finds interesting that other people don't. You know.
It was also like a 5-hour car ride to build this thing. You know, it wasn't like 15 minutes away where it's like, ooh, I got something to show you. I was like, wow, like what is this? You know, I have the whole car ride to think about it.
Exactly. Like you think genuinely you're gonna wind up like at the end of a rainbow, you know, like it better be.
Giant gold.
And once again, the weather is not the best. I think that's part of it too. Like, and Ben's driving to his credit, but the weather's not the best. But anyway, we're taking this drive, and where did we wind up, Alex?
Rhombus.
Okay. Well, that is on, I think, the Princeton campus, right?
Oh. Wait, was the rhombus on the Princeton campus?
I think it was.
It was it was some field.
It was like the lawn of an office park.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
So
so he didn't tell us where we were going.
and
And
even when he told us, like he's like, we're finding the rhombus, and I'm just like, what the fruit, dude?
that,
And I did not say fruit. I was just like, what is that, man? Like, you know, and it was definitely one of those moments where it was just like it was all Ben's world, man, you know, and
yeah.
it was so beautiful though. Like I say that with so much love, and I'm saying that with a smile for a reason. But then it's just like we're at the rhombus, and he had to explain to me, but I think everyone in the car he had to explain, maybe other than Deanna, to be fair. He had to explain like what the rhombus was, what it was significant for, and he's like, we found it. Not many people find it. Many people think it's in the King of Prussia Mall, but it is not. And like you can tell, like Ben is pumped up, and he has every right to be. But at the same time, like we're not the audience for it necessarily. You know what I'm saying?
I remember I was like trying to like act impressed. I don't even know if I was actually. I don't know. I just remember the walk from the parking lot to get there because again, like I don't think I even knew what it was. We got to the Princeton campus, and maybe it was a lawn or a field or whatever, and we just started like walking through this field. I'm like, where are we going, man? Like, I thought we were going to a Fish concert.
That's right. And the whole thing is on the way to a concert. So there's also part of you that just says, like, can we just get to the show? You know. But
Yeah.
in fairness to Ben, like once we actually got there, like it was pretty cool. So the Rhombus is a place where like apparently Trey wrote a bunch of songs, and that's all I feel qualified to say. I feel like I know more, but like if I wind up like saying something, like
No, like didn't like someone go in there? Wasn't someone like living in there or something like that, or they had meetings in there?
So there's a legend of sorts, but I don't know if that has to do with like a Gamehenge legend, or if like people really did like go into it and like talk stuff out, or I don't know if that's just like Gamehenge lore where it's just like Wilson comes from the Romulus, the Rhombus rather. But what I'll never forget, and I love this because this is going to sound weird coming out of my mouth, but they get it. It was such a sibling moment, and I know that because I have it with Noel. It's one of those genuine brother sister moments where we're at the Princeton campus, and Ben finally explained like what we're there to see, and everyone's a little like vexed about like what the hell is actually going on. Nobody really gets it, with all due respect, other than maybe Deanna, she might. And but speaking for you, me, and Emily, we don't get it. And Ben's like, I know it's here, but I don't know where it's at, so I'm gonna ask the security guard. And somebody is saying to Ben, I imagine Emily, but somebody is saying to Ben, what makes you think the security guard is going to know? And Ben says, and I quote, don't worry, I bet they get this all the time. And Emily says,
Yo, I remember this. Oh my God.
Emily says like a cold savage. And she says,
oh, he was dead certain. There's not even an ounce of doubt in his mind.
Yeah, Ben was convinced. And Emily goes, Ben, I'll bet they don't. And it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Because now we're at a point where my cards are tipped over because I'm just trying desperately, like, to keep a straight face, which I'm failing at. Like I am busting up at that point. And then eventually we get to the rhombus. We take some cool pictures around it. And you know what, dude? Those pictures are still saved for me, and I've done some more research since, and I get the significance, and I'm glad we made the trip. And if I'm being really selfish about it, man, like, do you remember how cautious Ben was about getting off of the rhombus?
About what?
Do you remember how when Ben climbed on top of the rhombus, how cautious he was getting off?
Oh my God, man. Yeah, I was like, he kept on looking down. I'm like, yo, it's like a 4-foot jump. And we're both there like, we'll catch you, but we don't even need to catch you.
It was. I'm sorry, man.
I
Thank
know.
you for
Yeah.
watching. I'm sorry,
Sorry,
dude.
Ben.
That was. I'm not proud of the fact that that made me laugh, but that was really very funny. But you know what, dude? If you showed me a creepy doll, I'd be running out of the room. So we all have our hang-ups. So, but
Wait, did we end up asking a security guard?
what's that?
Did we ask a security guard where it was?
Yeah, and she didn't
You
really.
had no idea, right?
Well, I remember for a fact she didn't know off the bat. She wasn't like, you're seeking the rhombus, like that did not happen. What I think might have happened is like after Ben explained a little bit, she was like, oh, do you mean this thing? And then she like gave him a loose direction. I feel like that's how it might have went down. What I bet my life on is Ben didn't say, we're looking for the rhombus, and she said, it's over
Oh,
there.
I got you. I get this
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, I get this all the time. Oh man, Greedy. Oh, you're scratching every itch right now, man. Yes, exactly that, man. Exactly that. I am so glad. I'm so glad that you experienced that with me. To be honest, man, my eventual goal, like I said, man, I would love to have Deanna on the show, and we'll talk about that day. And Emily, if I'm being honest, I don't know if the story pool with Emily runs this deep, but I would love to at least ask her about that and just kind of get everybody in that car's perspective on that day, and then bring it back to Ben and just get his perception. I think that might be the long-term goal of the Core Chronicles. I really do.
$20 or a hat says that Ben is defiant to this day.
Yeah, man. It's that like any Core Chronicle T-shirt will have like the rhombus beneath it, and it's all because of them, man. So who am I kidding, man? I guess I owe them a lot. Greedy, the story I wanted to lead with, it might not be the most profound story. I think we've covered a lot of what makes our friendship pretty great and pretty special. But do you remember the one time you were kind enough to take me to a Malaysian food spot?
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Now, here's one where, if you don't mind, I do want to kind of set the tone. And then I would love to hear your perspective. All right? Greedy is kind enough. Greedy is, in my opinion, he's a wizard of finding some unique cuisine in NYC. And I say that with the utmost of respect. And for all I know, once you live there long enough, like maybe it's not as difficult as I'm perceiving. But like even in the days before
I Googled it.
So mainstream and all these kind of apps were right on your phone, Greedy always seemed to know like a place where it's just like, I bet you've never had something like this before. Which is part of why I gave you the heads up on Field Trip. Not for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, delicious stuff. I still work with them. They're great people, man. They really are. I enjoy them.
Yeah, did I send you the picture I took?
Yeah, you sent me of your skateboard.
Yeah, in hindsight, we didn't take any of the food.
I know. You let me down a little bit there, but it was cool to see you on your skateboard, man. I got a lot of love for that. Work Polly was a little disappointed. Not Work Polly was really very pleased. He really made my day. And not Work Polly is the one you want to hang with anyway. Baby boy. So,
I'd hang with Work Polly.
No doubt. Yeah, he's pretty cool too. A lot more Muppet references, so brace yourself. So, Ruby's kind enough to take me to this Malaysian spot. And on the menu, I want to say that it's all I don't know what they speak. I feel like I'm being ignorant if I say.
It was a Malaysian restaurant, and I think the menu does have English, but it doesn't really describe exactly what all the dishes are.
Right. Okay. So I'm at this. I'm at the table, and the kind waiter comes up, and I just kind of say to him, I'm like, hey, the red dots mean the dish is spicy, right? And he's like, yeah, it means spicy. And I said, oh, good, I like spicy. And I just meant like, I like baseball too, but there's a reason I'm up on the dugout singing songs instead of at third base. You know what I'm saying? Like I suck at baseball, But he's like, oh, you like spicy? And I'm like, yeah, but I just mean that so I like spicy food. And and that's it. I do.
When you're in a Malaysian restaurant or an Indian restaurant, if you say you like spicy, like, you better be ready.
And I know for a fact, and I'm sure that he's a lovely man, okay, who deserves every kindness and happiness that ever comes his way. But I know for a fact that I said that. And he's like, okay, white boy, we'll see how much you like it by the
You
end
know,
of
as soon as he turned around, he's like rubbing his hands, like salivating. He's like, oh, yes, got another victim.
So he brings out this dish, all right? And I like spicy food, and I am not a prude when it comes to spicy food. I think I would low-key impress you despite what this story is going to tell you. I eat this dish.
Which we should do that, by the way. We should do like a hot wing night or spicy food night.
I would love that, man. I'm not eating meat anymore, but we should do definitely a spicy food night.
We can do vegan wings, but yeah.
Yeah, by all means. I would love that, man. Now I'm already thinking about that. But anyway, we bring out this bowl of something that feels like pho, but it's not. It's something liquid based, but I forget exactly what it's called. And
was it the might have been the roti.
Yeah, perhaps that sounds very familiar. And it's kicking my butt, man. It has me sweating, tearing, whole 9 yards. Yeah. And so we reach a point where I look over and I literally see not only the waiter but other workers like looking at me eating it. And that's when I know I'm just
got their phones out taking a video.
Eat it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I almost feel like saying like I didn't ask for this, And Greedy says, being a great friend, he's just like, Tom, if you want to switch dishes, we can switch dishes. Because he's really seeing the pain. You know what I'm saying? Really seeing the pain.
You're suffering, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's suffering. I'm not going to play it cool, man. I'm not going to play it cool. By every account, man, I was hurting. And I say to him, I'm paraphrasing, but I say to him, I was like, if I don't finish half, they're going to laugh at me. And I said, I got to finish a little more than half, and then we could switch. And so we basically went through different kind of phases of me trying to power through and eating quick, and me trying to take one bite and wait 10 minutes and take another bite. And then finally I get to like what I called like 7/12 of the way, which I don't know why I said 7/12. I really don't. And I was just like, all right. And literally I pushed it over to Greedy and like
white flag. Yeah, man.
I think in fairness to Greedy, let's just call a spade a spade. I think Greedy handled it a lot better than I did. But rest assured, it was not something that I bargained for, and it was not the highlight of my life in terms of the way it made me feel, and I'm sure not the highlight of my life in terms of the way it made me look. Greedy, do you have anything kind of to add to that story?
Or make you feel the day after. It's probably the worst part.
Yeah, that's true though. I was saying
no, anything to add? I mean, no, I would just say I kind of, it's like, it's almost like I was watching a movie, like I saw what was going down, but I don't know. I should have stopped it, but I didn't. It was just, I couldn't pull my eyes away. When I could see him smacking his lips, it's like, oh, you like spicy food? And you're just like, oh, yeah. He's in a world to hurt.
Yeah.
No, it's Neonia down on Grand Street. Great food. I'm trying to think of what we got that was so hot. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good one. Actually, like one of the first times me and Lindsay went to dinner, like not on a date, it was like me, my roommate, her. We went to that place, and Lindsay's not that good with like hot food. She got something that was like kind of mild. I remember my roommate looked at her and was like, what's wrong with your face? like I am just so spicy. There's nothing wrong with my face. Like I'm just so hot.
Yeah.
So if you're not used to it, yeah, it can definitely give you a little kick in the butt.
Yeah, it kicked more than my butt, brother Joe. Kicked my tongue, my eyes, my nose, the butt the next day. But yeah, man, it kicked.
So I'll tell you a little story about spicy food. Like when I got my butt handed to me, um, I was on like intramural soccer teams, the Zog League, and we played once a week. It was on Roosevelt Island. It's the island kind of between Upper East Side and Queens.
Yeah.
There's only one bar on the island. It's right by. Actually, there's two bars, but there's one bar that we went to right by the subway stop. Every week we get like pictures of beer and hot wings, and we always get like the hot. It's like mild, medium, hot. We'd always get hot, and I mean, dude, like they were not hot. It was like mild ketchup on it. And every single week I would complain. I'm like we ordered a hot wings, like they're not hot. You gotta like change the recipe or something. And I swear to God, we must have been going there for like a year. It was a long time. It wasn't just like a month complaining.
My God, okay.
Like a year. And this guy comes out one day. He's like, "All right, like who's the guy that's always complaining about the hot wings?" I'm like, "Me." And he's like, "What's wrong with them?" I was like, "They're not hot. Like you can't ever."
That. Me.
Well, because I was like trying to tell. I was like, "Let me can you pass this along to management?" I was like, "Finally, management, you're here."
Yeah.
Like, you can't advertise mild, medium, hot. It's like it's okay if you just have one. If you just have hot wings, they're not hot. It's like okay, but you have mild, medium, hot, and we got hot. They're not hot. So he's like, okay. We got something called the volcano wings. They're not on the menu, and if you order them, you can't send them back. And I was like, send them back. I was like, we'll take 20.
One. And it took them a year to offer these freaking things. Good God. Okay.
And in hindsight, I don't know. He might have like bought some spicy sauce or something, just like mess with us.
Right.
But we got the 20, and I always tell the story the same way. I'm like, for anyone that's eating spicy food or hot wings or whatever, you'll have one. And even if it's really, really hot, first 5 seconds, like, oh, not that bad.
Yeah.
And then like 10 seconds later, you're like, okay, it's heating up. And then 30 seconds in, you're like, yeah, like my lips are numb.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it builds, baby. Got slow burn.
These ones, I mean, dude, within a half second of biting the wing, I'm like, oh my God, these are so hot. And we ordered 20 of them. I'm like, and my whole team is there. So of course, like I've been talking shit for a year, like complaining, and they're all like, "Oh, like Alex, like how are they?" And I am dying, like I'm like, it's beyond sniffling. Like my ears were ringing. I was losing my peripheral vision. Like I was literally going black at the sides. But I'm just like, oh, like they're pretty good. And it was even to the point like the skin under my fingernails was burning.
Oh my God!
It was hot.
Wow.
And we got 20, I think. I had 13. My friend Scott had 6, and there was one left. And I looked and was like, yo, like, I can't have another one. Like, I am
13 and 6. Good God.
Well, we couldn't leave them. And I mean, it's like I had to like stamp my feet. There's this poor couple there. It was clearly like their first or second date. And I'm just like stamping my feet on the ground, walking around like huffing and puffing. They're gonna have like a nice like romantic dinner, so it's the next day, and I don't want to get too into details here, but everyone knows the next day it's a little bit worse. So I'm going to the bathroom like every 15 minutes, even to the point where my boss, he's like, hey, like, is everything okay? Like you've been getting up every 15 minutes to go to bed. I was like, nah, I just had some really spicy food last night. He's like, gotcha. And my friend Scott, who had the other 6, I'm texting him furiously because, we were good friends, and I hadn't heard from him all morning, let alone, like, dude, how are you feeling, man? I'm dying. I finally get a text from him at like, I don't know, 5:30, and he's like, I just got off the plane to Chicago. You have no idea how horrible my flight was.
Oh my gosh. And you know what, dude? I was about to say, like, I'd like to believe that I could give you 6, I'd like, just like, maybe that's why I said 7 out of 12, but like, baby boy, man, that sounds awful. What a
so we should do
to do that the day before a flight? Oh my God. What a ballsy move by Scott. Let's just be real about that.
To be fair, we didn't know it was going to be that hot. You know what I mean? Like these were.
But once, but I got to be honest with you, man. Once you have one and you realize like bars at, you pretty much have to realize, like, okay, I'm flying tomorrow, bro. I need to be careful and look out for myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good for Scott. Baby boy. Let's get
So
Scott.
anyway, I guess moral of the story is like everyone's gotten their butts kicked by Spice at some point.
You know what it meant? Like, this is how you know we're stupid. It's like, in my mind, I'm just like, I'd be more prepared now. You know, like I kind of want to try it again. You know, I feel like I'm older, wiser, more prepared for it, and I'm probably not. But like in my head, I'm just like, let's do it.
You just gotta numb your tongue before. Have you ever seen this YouTube show called Hot Ones?
Of course, dude. Yeah.
We should do like a Hot Ones thing.
I would like that. I think you would be a great host of that. Man.
Host?
Yeah.
Oh no. Because I feel like as a host, well, I guess for the host, you do need to be able to eat the wings and like still sort of function.
And that's where I think I would have to bow out to you.
No, but the sauces they use on that, they're hot. Like we actually tried doing it. We did it for New Year's 2 years ago, and we ordered all 10 sauces. And it's really funny because we kind of like time lapse. We put a video camera like at the back of the room to get like the whole room.
Yeah.
And my friend, he did a time lapse of it, and you can tell right when like the first really hot wing hits, because everyone in the beginning they're like eating and talking to, and then also like everyone's like pounding their fists like in like time lapse really fast. People like walking around, stomping their feet.
My God.
And
I can only. If it means being able to. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. The bomb sauce. Good lord. See, man, like I don't. That's where kind of the pleasure leaves it, man. It can't be more heat than flavor, man.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was literally gonna say like there's like pleasure and pain. There's no pleasure. It is just 100% pain.
Terrible. But I'll tell you what, man. If it means being able to chill with you and all this stuff is behind us, man, I can't wait to do a spicy sampling and a nice little wing. I'm gonna call it a wing method, but it won't be wings. It'll be something.
Yeah, right on, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we should do that, but we should get like a big group,
You bet. I would love it, dude. I don't think there would be anything more funny in the world than watching Sean eat spicy food.
I mean, dude, for him, that would be like a little bit of black pepper.
Oh, man, it probably would, though. I can't say.
Sean, shot fired.
Alex, man, I want to thank you so much for being on the show, man. This has been the Corn Chronicles. I know we've told a lot of great stories along the way. I want to say that you've always been really very kind to me, and I've always kind of gleaned a lot about what it means to live your life from just simply being around you. And there's a very popular saying that if you're in a room and you're the smartest guy in the room, you should probably find another room. And I want to say that.
Didn't they call the people from Enron that?
What's that? Oh, no. Oh, Lord.
About the people from Enron, the smartest guys in the room?
Yes, I did. But no, in all seriousness, man, I think that's why I'd always want to be in a room with you. And I appreciate you staying in a room with me anyway, Thank
6
you
feet apart, though.
What's that?
6 feet apart.
Oh, Lord. Hey, man, we're going to pretend that this gets released when all this stuff is behind us. But yeah, dude, 6 feet indeed. Thank you for everything, Alex, man. I appreciate it. Always a great friend of mine. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Yo, man, and thank you for having me. Dude, I don't think, there's no one else that would set up this sort of format and, put the time in to think these stories and ask these questions, I think it just speaks to the kind of person you're like truly interested in getting to know down to the soul, each and every one of his friends, man. And yeah, just happy to be a part of this.
Well, thank you, man. That means the world. This has been the Corn Chronicles. This has been Alex Greedy, making your evening, I'm sure. Y'all have a good night, and Alex, thank you again, man. Have a good one, my friend.
Have a good night, man.